Welcome to Samuels.tia channel. Kevin Samuels was truly a truth seeker, and after many years of educating both men and women of all races, but particularly those of African descent, in the art of navigating the ever-complex dating world, he was sadly ripped from our lives as he was called back home to the Almighty in 2022. Some of us, myself included, instinctively recognized the truth of his message. Many found his message rather unpalatable. I am hoping with this channel to make his message that little bit more digestible in a more feminine and softer manner. I hope this helps my sisters in the Black community who saw him as an enemy. Being Black myself, I hope I can bridge that gap. And oh, by the way, my father was also called Samuel, so in a twist of fate, I pay tribute with this channel to my father, who is also where Kevin has gone. I love how the Icelandic have a way of acknowledging someone's daughter in the same way as someone's son. So I appropriate the Icelandic way to find a suitable name for my channel, Samuels.tia, Samuel's daughter. Enjoy the video.
Hello.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can now. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good, Kevin.
What do you got for me?
Well, first of all, there are a few things that I do not agree with. Now I am 45 years old.
Okay.
And you mentioned, and we're talking about divas, queens, and bosses. First of all, I grew up listening to Beyonce and Mariah Carey. That's what I consider divas. And I just think it's just a term of endearment. You know, it's something for a woman to feel empowered.
Empowered to do
about.
what?
So
This is insidious subliminal programming. That's all it is. I don't accept this woman's argument at all. A term of endearment is saying to someone, my love, my treasure, my honey, my baby, etc. Calling someone boss, chef, which is, what we say in French, if you're French speaking, captain, leader, that's not quite what we mean by terms of endearment. It is a term, for sure. It's a title. Does it need to be a title of superiority over others for it to be a term of endearment? There are many ways to make people feel empowered. There are behavioral changes one can make to feel themselves empowered. For example, I'll give you a very common example where usually mothers say to daughters, especially those who tend to hunch their backs a little bit because they're a bit shy, maybe physically a bit too tall, and feel that they cannot put their heads up because they'll be taller than others, taller than their peers, maybe even taller than men. And given the psychology of women, we want to look up to men. We have some young girls who tend to stoop, and their mother or their grandmother will say, stand up, be strong, feel that you are someone that can look up, feel worthy. That's a good thing because it increases her confidence. When you stand up straight, your whole attitude changes. That's it's a very empowering thing to encourage someone to do. This also applies to young boys, of course. Sometimes we see the same thing in boys who tend to stoop. So I don't agree at all. So first off, I am a little bit suspicious of her motivations here. Why is she defending this? Which other race of women have this so-called term of endearment? Not that matters. I'm not saying that just because other races don't do it, that Black women should not. But the fact that there aren't other races of women doing this surely tells us something, especially given that other races of women have better luck in the dating industry, so to speak, in the dating market. So are we doing something wrong? That's food for thought, no?
Empowered to do what?
It's an empowering feeling. Just at a point where they're very confident in themselves.
Okay.
And
what does your husband have to say about it?
Whereas my husband, I'm divorced.
All right. So name me the white women that run around calling themselves divas. Or name me any other race of women that call themselves these things.
Touche. Notice two things. She's divorced. Okay. This doesn't necessarily imply a causative relationship. I'm not saying that just because she supports or agrees with this attitude that this would have led to her divorce. For sure not. There are many factors involved in all of this. Yes. But, and Kevin Samuels is obviously thinking the same way I'm doing here. Name another race of women that go around saying this. Are they successful in the same way as we are? Or let me turn this the other way. Are they as unsuccessful in the dating world as we are? What is success rates if you compare a group of women with this attitude and a group of women with another attitude, which is that the woman is not necessarily a boss chick or whatever they call themselves. It's just not logical. And there are good, sound, physiological and biological reasons for this. What we are doing doesn't work. Let's stop it.
Divas, queens, and bosses. Tell me how Asian women empower themselves. Tell me how white women empower themselves. Show me how Middle Eastern and Hispanic women empower themselves.
Okay, but why do we have to be like them, though? I mean,
well, I'm asking because we're humans. Okay, you asked a question and you can overtalk me.
Well, no, we don't have to be like them, granted. But if we want to improve our lot, maybe we should look around and see who's winning and do what they're doing. How about that?
Oh, I'm not. I apologize. I apologize. I'm not trying to overtalk.
But my thing is, first off, can you turn off the YouTube channel in the background?
Yes.
All right. It's not a problem about this empowerment, man. It's pedestalizing. It's it's not empowerment, it's pedestalizing.
Yes, unearned pedestalizing. It's fine to reward, to cheer up and praise someone who's done something good. It's quite acceptable. But here, we are just pumping up. That's the only way I can describe this. Pumping up a whole generation of women just for being women. It's not that they've done something special, if somebody did something great, won the Olympics or something, and they are celebrated and lauded, that's absolutely fine. No one is going to rain on their parade. But here we're saying everybody is worth it, is not even that. You see, there's a very subtle difference between saying everybody is worth it, which is a good thing in general, and saying that one group of people, this particular generation of women, or even specifically black women, are bosses, leaders over everybody else. This is the thing. It's not about even equality. It's about giving them a kind of special ranking, which we haven't quite earned. I'm not saying we don't deserve to be leaders, we don't deserve to be bosses even. I mean, if that's what the case is in your working life, great. There are many black women that have businesses, for example. They are literally bosses, but this is not what we're talking about. It's about every single black woman, even the ghetto chick, who's done nothing in her life. She's a baby mama. She's basically living on the poverty line, but she's a boss chick. And who is she a boss chick over? the black man or any other man in her vicinity. Is this normal? This just gives her an inflated sense of entitlement, which, because it's so incongruent with what's happening in her actual life, it causes a very severe conflict. It's what we call cognitive dissonance. It's very confusing to the person themselves because they haven't really gone through what it means to be a boss. They have no idea how to be a boss in the first place, but they are being told they are. But they don't know how to hold that position. So in many ways, it's even dangerous. It's not just unhelpful, it's downright dangerous. That's my opinion on this. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I think this is quite an important point because not only are we not up to scratch in terms of our eligibility for marriage in general, we are also forcibly being lauded for no reason. So we are doubly disadvantaged in the dating world because we are nowhere near where we should be, but we think we are way higher than where we are. That's a double whammy. And I think this is a big problem for women of this woman's, perhaps daughter's generation. So, the women below her, which would be, I suppose, women between 20 and 35, right? So we are being disadvantaged and we don't know it. That's a problem.
Did you hear the previous caller who called herself a boss? And when she had business for 10 years, but she had no employees? What is she a boss of?
Well, I mean, again, that, being a boss, you can, it's a term of, running things, running your own business. And you don't necessarily have to have...
No, that's not true. Let's look up the definition of boss. Well, go ahead.
It doesn't necessarily, you don't necessarily have to have employees to consider yourself a boss.
Boss, noun, a person in charge of a worker or organization, union bosses. Or verb, giving orders or domineering manner. That sounds more like it. The verb boss makes a lot of sense, especially when black women use it, because they're certainly not in charge of workers.
Well, I'm in charge of my own schedule.
Okay. You have any kids? Do you have any children?
Yes, I do.
How many?
2.
Boys or girls?
Both, boy and girl, 23 and 24.
Okay, but when they were 5 or 8 years old, remember those years? They could have been in charge of making up their bed. Does that make them bosses?
Yeah, bosses of their own domain.
Are you trying to be are you really trying to be serious? Ma'am, honestly, ma'am, if that's how we're going to go with it, then this conversation really is kind of pointless. If you're going to tell me a 5 and an 8-year-old is a boss of something, then that goes into the delusion factor.
Okay. All right. Touche.
All right. Well, far too many black women want to be right, man. And you just won't even, when something's wrong, you'll still try to find a way to be right.
Yes, we just don't want to hear the truth. We prefer to wade in our delusions forever and complain that other women are more successful than we are. I mean, come on. This was a pretty easy analogy to make a point. She should have spotted it straight away and said, okay, I give up. But he had to push her to get her to agree that he was right. This term boss is simply unhelpful. It doesn't help us in any way in our relationships with men. And we haven't even come to the biological reasons why a woman should not be calling herself a boss, even if she is a boss in her working life. With respect to the dating market, it doesn't work. Physiologically, you're always going upstream if you're trying to be a boss against the man that you're trying to submit to in a relationship, because it's more natural for women to submit to men than the other way around. It's just a physiological thing. Why don't we just go with the flow here? Why do we need to be masculine? Why do we need to be the boss? It's tiring to be the boss all the time. Isn't it, ladies? Come on, be honest. Why do we do these things? I don't even understand. Our grandmothers didn't do it. Were they stupid or something? Are we suddenly more intelligent than previous generations of women? Why don't we just want to hear the truth? As this man is, or was, because sadly he's passed, of course, was painfully, because I'm sure it was painful for him to try and get this idea into our heads. There are many issues, but this is one of the more contentious ones, and probably more controversial than most. I think a lot of women just don't want to give up this level of control, this boss attitude. I don't really understand what it does for a woman. I don't know. I'm a woman, and I've never really felt that I need to be a boss in my relationship with a man or with men in general. Because I instinctively know it doesn't help me. But anyway, this is not about me. I just want to hear, especially from another woman if possible. Could you just write me a little comment in the comment section below to explain, if you have this attitude, why do you feel it helps? Is it helpful? I really want to know. I'm quite curious about this. I'm going to have some sleepless nights unless someone tells me more. Seriously, I really, really want to know. Because this is one of the more damaging attitudes that we can have that just kills our relationships, And I don't really understand why this has been so pervasive in our culture. I don't get it, and I need to get it to be able to speak to it, if you see what I mean. I need to understand it more. Okay, so let's move on. Rant is over.
But I am compromising. We're meeting in the middle, but I just...
Okay, well, meet in the middle. Meet me in the middle. How does calling yourself a diva, a queen, or a boss facilitate healthy relationships with men?
Well, the men that I encounter, they actually... I don't know too many women that call themselves divas.
And how does this facilitate? How does it facilitate healthy interactions with the men by calling yourself somebody in charge?
Well,
okay, you're divorced, right?
Yes.
So am I. And one of the big problems in a lot of marriages, in particular in Black Americans, who leads? Who's supposed to lead?
The male.
So, if I were your husband, how could I lead you? So if I were your husband, how could I lead you if you were a boss?
A boss of my schedule, a boss of my work.
Again, that's pedestalizing and overinflating importance. Why? Why is it so important to make things sound so grand that are just common? That's why I use the kids example. That's why I use the kids making up a bed. Yeah, they feel good about it, but in the grand scheme of things, it ain't nothing. And the damn sure you being the boss. But far too many Black women want a pat on the back for just average stuff.
Well, making the bed. I mean, that's part.
Just say, ma'am. She's struggling to sit back and say, "Damn, you got me." Check.
Well, I mean, we're talking about in rooms, and
that's what we're talking about. We're talking about how many Black women who call themselves bosses are in charge of anything.
I feel like if a woman runs her own business and do not go into a 9 to 5 is considered a boss.
All right. So,
And-
you know
and
what
that's
else? You know what else? You know what
yeah.
else? I mean, but see, man, that makes sense because so many black women won't call themselves fat or morbidly obese. They'll say they're BBW. See, a lot of you black women love to make up your own definitions. Forget the dictionary. We're going to make up our own words. It's going to have our own meanings. But here's the thing. The world doesn't work that way. Your arteries still say you're morbidly obese. One of the biggest pushbacks I get is from black women talking about weight.
Well, I don't have a weight problem. And, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
No,
Some
beauty
men like people.
is pretty well universal. There are some subjective things. How tall are you?
5'7".
Okay. What is the average weight of an American man?
The average weight, I would say maybe 185, 90.
Okay. And what's the weight of an average?
Nice. And
What's the weight of an average American female?
I would say maybe 150, 155.
The weight of an average American man is 168 pounds. The weight of an average American woman 55 years ago, who were the same height, used to be 120 pounds, and it shot up to 166 pounds. The average American black female is 187 pounds. The average black woman weighs more than the average black man at her height. Is that normal?
Mm-hmm.
Is that normal?
To compare to what statistics?
Normal. Normal
Because-
comparing. No, I got you. No. See, you about to try to pull this white shit on me. No. Normal compared a man to a damn woman. Should a woman who's 5'5" weigh more than a man who's 5'5"?
Well, absolutely not.
Well, but they
I
do.
mean,
But they do.
Ideally,
But they do. No, ideally, it's called they do.
hey.
Go ahead, make an excuse. Go ahead, make excuses for it.
No, I'm not making an excuse. I'm just saying that, the options are very low for black women.
What do you mean?
And that's
Hold on.
a fact.
Whoa. Stop right there. You're gonna have to justify that. What do you mean?
I'm justifying it in terms of there's a lot of good men that are locked up.
Let me
that are
stop you
high
right there. Let me
value.
stop you right there, man.
Okay.
I need to stop you right there. I need to stop
Okay.
you right there. I need you to pay attention. 51% of black men are single and childless. 64% are in the middle class. So you can go ahead and take that 1980s talking point back over to color purple land, because that shit is factually inaccurate and untrue according to black people statistics. Go to blackdemographics.com, saying as though you want to, those are white folks. Then go to blackdemographics.com, black statistics for black people about black people, and they'll show you.
So once again, Kevin Samuels uncovers the real motivation of this woman. She's come to play victim on behalf of black women. Did you hear what she said at the end there? Black women's options are lower. We have poorer choices to pick from, meaning the black man. Now, the reason this is so disingenuous, apart from the explanation Kevin Samuels gives, the other reason, which he hasn't mentioned, is that in effect, we, the black woman, we believe that we are worth it, as goes the advert for Oil of Olay, which is fine. I think, a little bit of a pick-me-up is good once in a while. It's good for all our mental health. But if we want that for only ourselves, it is selfish, egotistical, and quite discriminatory. This woman is saying, oh, poor me, poor black woman, on one hand. On the other hand, she's saying we only have poor pickings, meaning the black man, the group of whom black women should be picking from, is so low value. Do you see the implication here? The black man is definitely not worth it. He is not good enough. He is not enough. Now compare that with the mental health slogans that are pushed onto black women. You are enough. You are more than enough. You are worth it. You are higher than others. You are the boss. You are definitely up there. But what do we think of the black man? He's poor pickings. Do you see how distasteful this is? So, no, I don't like this woman's way of thinking at all. And, no one should, because she is not empowering everybody. You either empower everyone or you empower no one. She's just empowering the people she wants to empower, so her own little demographic, the black woman, and that's it. I wouldn't want to be part of any group or following that this woman is leading, that is part of. No, not good. It's not a healthy group to be in, because it's all about what can we get for ourselves and stuff everyone else. No. And I think this is actually very far from the original, shall I dare to say it, African-driven mentality. A little known secret is that in the old days of severe racism against black people in general, but especially perhaps the black woman, the nannies of white families, these women who looked after the children of their white masters and mistresses, do you know how much love and attention they gave to these kids? So much so that these kids, when they got to adulthood, sometimes considered these black nannies as their real mums, in the sense that they had more affection for them than they had their own emotionally distant white mothers. We are the most inclusive race of all. That is one unique selling point of black people. That is for another topic, for another day, for another video, but I'll just leave you with that thought. So this woman's attempt to exclude other groups is not natural to the black person. I said it. I dared to say it. We'll go into this another day. In the meantime, have a peaceful day. Blessings, peace, harmony.